The Sunday school lesson for October 19th, 2025 is Promises, Promises, Jeremiah chapter 35, verses 5 through 11. Welcome, viewers and subscribers to my channel, The Backstory and More. I am Audrey. If you are interested in knowing what happens before each Sunday school lesson, you are at the right place because I will share the backstory, read the lesson text, and offer a brief lesson summary. The backstory. The narrative of Jeremiah chapter 35, verses 5 through 11, unfolds during the tumultuous reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, around 607 BC, a critical period when the nation faced imminent judgment from Babylon. The Rechabites featured in this passage were descendants of Jehonadab, son of Rechab, who had lived during the time of King Jehu of Israel, approximately 250 years earlier. Jehonadab was known for his zealous commitment to the Lord, having assisted Jehu in purging Baal worship from Israel. The Rechabites followed strict ancestral vows established by Jehonadab, which included abstaining from wine, living in tents, and avoiding agricultural pursuits. These practices preserved their nomadic lifestyle and kept them distinct from the settled agricultural communities around them. Their presence in Jerusalem at this time was due to the Babylonian invasion under Nebuchadnezzar, which forced them to seek refuge within the city walls. God used their exemplary faithfulness as an object lesson to the people of Judah, contrasting the Rechabites' steadfast obedience to their forefathers' commands with Judah's persistent rebellion against divine instruction, despite God's repeated warnings through the prophets. Verses 5 through 6. Then I set bowls full of wine and some cups before the Rechabites and said to them, "Drink some wine." But they replied, "We do not drink wine, because our forefather Jehonadab, son of Rechab, gave us this command: neither you nor your descendants must ever drink wine." Verses 7 through 9. Also, you must never build houses, sow seed, or plant vineyards. You must never have any of these things, but must always live in tents. Then you will live a long time in the land where you are nomads. We have obeyed everything our forefather Jehonadab, son of Rechab, commanded us. Neither we, nor our wives, nor our sons and daughters have ever drunk wine, or built houses to live in, or had vineyards, fields, or crops. Verses 10 through 11. We have lived in tents and have fully obeyed everything our forefather Jehonadab commanded us. But when Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, invaded this land, we said, "Come, we must go to Jerusalem to escape the Babylonian and Aramean armies." So we have remained in Jerusalem. A brief summary. The Rechabites usually pitched their tents in open grazing country, but now they had come to Jerusalem to escape the invasion of the Babylonians. God told Jeremiah to invite them to come to one of the side rooms of the house of the Lord, that is the temple. Side rooms were built alongside the sanctuary and in other places within the large courtyards. When the Rechabites were assembled in a suitable place, Jeremiah was to offer them wine to drink, in spite of their prohibition against it. Their response would show whether they were faithful to their teaching or not. The Jeremiah named in verse 3 is not the prophet whose book we are reading, but a Rechabite having the same name. Apparently, his son Jazaniah was a recognized leader of the Rechabite group in Jerusalem. At the prophet's invitation, he and his whole group came to the house of the Lord. At that point, they probably did not know why Jeremiah had invited them there. Jeremiah deliberately offered a temptation for the Rechabites to forsake their convictions and the injunctions of their forefather. Surely they could never have a better excuse to forsake their traditional custom. Jeremiah, a known man of God, was giving the invitation: drink some wine. The place was the very house of God. They would not want to show resistance here. They were refugees, guests in the city. They would not want to give offense to their host. But the Rechabites were determined to remain faithful to the injunction they had obeyed for centuries. In addition to the order not to drink wine, the Rechabites had also been commanded to live in tents. If they followed these instructions, they were promised to live a long time in a land where they were nomads, that is, foreigners, not Israelites. This promise of Jehonadab is reminiscent of God's promise to those who honor father and mother in Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Thank you so much for listening. Stay safe and may God bless.